Let's reveal the secrets of the new PS5 update. And will the PS5 Gen 2 be more expensive? Sony just bought another developer. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to PS Ready. This is the weekend news update. I'm here with Ray Trevino.
What up, dude? I'm still so pumped. I'm pumped from last week over that Final Fantasy 16 state
that
of
was
play.
so good.
The stuff that they were showing off with the map and stuff like that, where they were like, you can like uncover secrets of the kingdom by like looking. I was like, oh, that's boring. Whatever. And then they got back to the giant monsters battle, and I was like, yeah. What do they call them? They're not summons in this game. They're icons.
Yeah.
So the icons. Yeah. Super excited for that. But I digress. So what do we have to get into?
The PS5 shortage is truly and officially over because it was just revealed that on a time-aligned basis, 29 months in the market, the PS5 has outsold the PS4 at this point. It's selling more PS5s than
At this
PS4s
point,
right now.
In year 3 versus when PS4
yeah,
at
like
the
it's
same
caught
time frame.
up. So
Yeah.
now it's going to start outselling it, which is crazy because we thought that the PS4 was going to be PS2 numbers, but maybe the PS5, if it keeps selling as well as it is, could officially reach PS2 numbers. PS2 is like an artificially inflated number though, because people just bought it to be a DVD player for the longest time.
This is such a crazy time, and it's interesting that shortages are we're over the hump officially when it comes to that, because I just remember getting my PS5. It was such a trial, man. Like, and it,
Yeah,
I had
it wasn't for me, but I understand.
I hate you, bro. Like, go and like.
I've never not gotten a console in the first pre-order.
That's crazy that you say that, because I know a couple of people who work at Sony first party studios, and they had to like fight their way through pre-order lines, and like
Amazon, they tell you beforehand, and then people are like, oh, but like, what if I want to get it from somewhere else? Amazon doesn't charge you till they ship, so you can just reserve your spot right away and then cancel later. I've also done that before.
So I have a Best Buy credit card, so I wanted to get mine through Best Buy. And the first couple times I tried, it was like sold out. I had it in my cart, sold out. Oh, you missed it, sorry. And I also tried Walmart too, and that was by far the worst one.
Yeah, dude, everyone hated it with Walmart because Walmart would like. So what was happening was people were stealing them from the back and then scalping them. So then Walmart would think they had them in inventory, and then they would sell them. And then while people were driving there, the people who were like selling them out the back of the store would just cancel the order. So yeah, Walmart was like crazy with it.
Like,
but
dude, come on.
yeah, I got mine on Amazon.
My brother was in town. This was like 2021. My brother was in town visiting, and he was like, there's this really dope breakfast burrito spot in, I think, Los Feliz. And so we go over there, and I get the alert from, I think, Wario64 or something.
Yeah,
it's
I love
like,
that guy.
Best Buy has PlayStation 5s in stock now. And I was like, oh, crap. So I was like,
That was like right
Franco?
after you started working here.
Yeah, I was like, Franco, get on with Best Buy. Put as many like PlayStation 5s in the cart, whatever works, whatever, like bundles, digital, physical, I don't care. Just, and then the first one that works, take this credit card. But I'm still driving at this point, like giving him like
Franco,
put this credit card in and then wrap it up. And he did. And by the time we parked and got ready to eat breakfast, I had secured a PlayStation 5.
That's
it was
awesome.
great. But I wish I didn't have to do that. It was just such a weird time in gaming. So it's cool to see we're getting over this hump. Scalpers everywhere punching the air right now.
I guess that just brings us to the second news story, though, because the scalpers, they might be telling us about the future of the PS5 here. So if you didn't know, the scalpers are abandoning ship on the PS5. They're selling them for less than retail price, which is crazy, considering that you were able to get like $700 or $750 for them at one point. Yeah. We know people who are able to get $1,000 for a bundle. So to see them going for less than $500 now, or less than $400 for the digital one, things have really changed for the PlayStation 5. But a lot of people I've noticed are thinking that the scalpers are setting their sights on the next PlayStation because they think we're in for the same or a similar situation where Sony has to rebuild up all of the reserves, and because of that, it's going to be just as difficult, or maybe a little less difficult, to get a PlayStation 5 Gen 2.
So we're just gonna have to deal with this all over again, potentially. Like they suck
it's gonna
up
be
all the
Nintendo
freaking
Wii, PlayStation
PS5
5, Series X, all over again, dude. It's Nintendo Switch. Remember how hard that thing was to get for the first little bit there? And even the Switch OLED was a little tough to get. It's because they make less of them as time goes on. But like, I feel like Sony is doing their best probably to build up the reserves of the Gen 2 PS5, because I think that thing's going to be huge, especially if it's coming out around Spider-Man 2. They just haven't had, like, God of War is big, right? Like, God of War is huge. It's bigger than it's ever been. God of War is not touching Spider-Man 2 in terms of sales, right? So Sony's really going to want to get out this slim model, this new version of it that they can make more money on by September, I would think. And I also probably would assume that they're going to either keep the price the same, or that's when they might raise it here in the United States.
And then, so what do you think a scalper could get for a PS5 Slim? You think like 900?
I bet they're hoping they could get at least $750, dude. Like, they could go right back up to where they were at for at least a little bit, right? Like, the scalping game, it's like not focused on one item at all times, right? I used to like trade stuff on Craigslist and like sell stuff on Craigslist, but like this whole scalping game, it would be a fun full-time job, but I think you need time to make it a full-time job.
You got to be different. You got to be a shark, dude. I put up my old laptop on OfferUp for freaking $275, and people come at me and be like $100, $120. I'm like, can you stop wasting my damn time,
OfferUp
please?
pros right there. But yeah, so I think if they don't raise the price on this new PS5 Slim, they are definitely going to jack it up more on the PS5 Pro. I think that thing is coming out $550, $600 minimum.
Well, do you think that like these retailers have learned a lesson from the PS5 shortage, from the console shortages that were like 2020 to 2022?
Because like Walmart was still getting $500 for every disc model. They don't care what happens after, right? Like, they're still making their profit. They were also notoriously raising the price on them by like bundling in controllers or like bundling in an extra game that they already paid for and then jacking up the price there. So they were also getting pretty crafty with making people pay more. Like, GameStop was the worst. You could get GameStop bundles of PS5s pretty easily. The issue was you were just buying a bundle in addition to your PS5 that they were charging like $800, $900 for. When the PS2 came out, for a long time, you couldn't buy a PS2 at GameStop or EB Games unless you bought it in a bundle, and then they got in trouble for doing that from Sony.
Like,
they're like, okay.
they're like, guys, I'm joking.
It doesn't make a lot of money on a console. What they make money on is all these crappy accessories like the cradle that doesn't even charge your DualSense. They're like $20 for this 5-cent piece of plastic, baby. I'm so excited. Or they throw in a Mad Catz controller and they're like, yes, this $5 controller, we're charging like $80 extra for it. You know, like, and people will buy it if they really want to get things at launch, which I got kind of burned on, I feel, with this generation. Like, it really took a while for them to start making games, but yeah, dude, the scalpers, they're done with the PS5. They said we're moving on. Yeah, we'll have a link down in the description, but you can get the God of War bundle right now for $510. So that's getting God of War Ragnarok for $10.
$10.
And if you buy it now, you can still take advantage of the PS Plus collection and get God of War 2018 for free. I'm hoping this results in more games, though, that Sony has bought yet another studio called Firewalk. Have you heard of these guys?
Firewalk?
Yeah, Firewalk. They have Fire Sprite.
Like walk or like a walk?
Like, no, not like a walk. Firewalk.
Oh, Firewalk.
Walk. This is like
Walk
the milk,
hard.
bagel, whatever. All these different
Bagle.
Midwestern words. But yeah, so they bought a new studio called Firewalk. A lot of people are saying like, oh, I already thought they were part of Sony. I think they're getting it mixed up with Firesprite, who are the people who just made Horizon Call of the Mountain. It's a newer studio. They haven't really put anything out, but I guess there's some good talent from there, and allegedly they're working on a live service game.
Interesting. Do you think they'd be working with Bungie at all?
I hope Bungie
Like as a support?
I hope every Sony studio that's making a live service game is in direct communication with Bungie about how to do it right, because these are very difficult types of games to get right. I mean, we've seen so many of them die over the past year that it's crazy. So if they have any hope of these games catching on, except for maybe The Last of Us one, I think they need to be talking to Bungie.
What kind of games do you think Sony would be targeting when it comes, like in terms of genre, when it comes to live
Sports.
games?
Next up, there's a PlayStation update out now, and it's a huge mystery as to what it actually does. So we got the classic improved stability and performance.
Classic.
And we got an update for the DualSense Edge, but it just says we've updated the software. But this update
Classic.
must do something because it's over a gigabyte. Like, usually these are like 200 megabyte updates, you know, like nothing crazy, just patching an exploit. But they're doing something behind the scenes with the PS5. I don't know if they're secretly like adding in this PS3 emulator. Maybe they're going to announce it at a showcase. I don't know what they could be doing with the DualSense Edge. What I really hope is that this update fixes the problem that the Edge has, that the original DualSense had, where it'll tell you the battery is dead before it's like dead by a lot. So when it says like it starts flashing, you know, it says like plug in your controller or whatever. On my DualSense Edge, I've usually got at least an hour left, maybe even 2 sometimes. And that sucks because if you plug it in right when you get the warning, it's bad for your battery overall. And unlike the stick modules, you can't just change out the battery in the DualSense Edge super easily.
What if, okay, I'm putting on my tinfoil hat here, they're updating something in your controller to further optimize it for maybe a big game that's coming out soon? I don't know, maybe Spider-Man, maybe not so much Final Fantasy 16 because that's not technically first party, but
yeah,
maybe like getting ready for that Spider-Man.
They gotta have something between Final Fantasy 16 and Spider-Man. I feel like the gap of June to September is way too long. Like you need at least something smaller, like that game that they've showed off a couple times, Pacific Drive. I want that game to come out now. It looks so cool. It's like a roguelite where you're like you're going out scavenging for parts to upgrade your car.
Is that the VR one?
It has a VR mode, but you can play without VR. It looks really cool. So yeah, I really hope that they're just gearing up for a showcase, trying to get things cleaned up on the PlayStation 5. Maybe they're working on themes, like adding back-end support for themes. That would be another good thing to announce during the showcase. Like some feature people have been asking for a while is what I think they should be focusing on.
You know what's been pissing me off about my PS5?
What?
Is that all through this gen, people are like, it is super easy to connect a USB microphone into your PS5 and use that as a regular microphone online and Discord, all of that stuff.
Is it not that easy?
Peasy. And then I go ahead, plug mine in, doesn't work. Look on Google, that's my first move, and they're like, duh, you got to plug it into the back USB port, dummy. And then I go ahead and do that. Still doesn't work. I'm like, what is going on?
There's also dumb stuff like you can't charge your controller through the back port. You can only charge it with the front port. So, but like I don't want the cord hanging off the front of my PS5, so I was using the back port.
Very
and
unsightly.
The controller's always dead. It's so annoying. That's the best feature of the DualSense Edge is that 9-foot USB cable it comes with, so you can just keep it plugged in and not even freaking worry about it anymore. I'm just so sick of my controller battery dying all the time for no reason. It's crazy that Xbox is able to have like 60 hours of battery life or whatever in theirs. And it like, obviously it has less features than the DualSense, but like there's no excuse. Sony should figure this out. Even if you have to make the controller a little bit bigger, that's fine. Just put the battery in there that makes it last longer and call it like the DualSense XL or something. I would buy that. And last up here today, I got to tell you guys about Dead Island 2. I got a review code for this game. I wasn't expecting much. It's really good. It's a really good game. The first thing that shocked me, it's not open world, it's open area. You have this hub, it's in the hills. It's like a celebrity's house. You have a whole little gang of survivors. You can do side quests, get more survivors to come to the house. Face capture in this game, honestly, some of the best I've ever seen. Shocking. The intro to this game is crazy. It's a bunch of people driving to get to an LAX to get on a like 747 to be an evac out of the city after the zombies all come. It's like graphically awesome. You pick your character from one of the survivors on the plane. You get bit and realize you're immune. So that gives you zombie powers.
A little Ellie situation going on.
It's just like that, except like this game is hilarious. Like one of the first places you go is an influencer mansion where they've got an apology script written on a whiteboard. They've got a streaming setup, and the design of the levels is pretty cool. Like there's a room that had a weapon blueprint in it, and I was like, how do I get in there? And there's a locked door, and I was like, shoot, I must need a key. But then I was on the roof, and I noticed there's a skylight, so I just hit the skylight with my baseball bat and fell through this freaking roof, and then I was in the room, and I could open the door from the inside. So it gives you like a lot of freedom. It's a lot more fluid than the original Dead Island. It's like halfway in between Dead Island and Dying Light, I would say, in terms of freedom. You have the drop kick. The way skills are managed in this is you get cards and you have a deck of cards and those are all your skills. You have the weapon crafting. So far, great experience. I'm about 5 hours in and it's like one of the goriest games I've ever played and I love it. It's like a 20-hour game. So far, it's been really fun. It's running super well. Graphically looks great. I can't believe this game is as good as it is, but it's like a premium AAA product that I think is definitely going to be worth it. So don't overlook it.